As soon as Max Verstappen's grandma showed up to the GP, I knew this guy was not losing.
2-hour drive that we will make it 1 hour and a half.
No,
never.
A victory and now only a 69-point gap to the championship leader. That's 2 straight victories in a row, and while it might seem like a stretch that it's possible for him to win the title, I think there's only one guy on the grid that can actually achieve that right now, and that is Max. He's now gone on to achieve and have more victories than all the drivers combined in this regulation period, even if he doesn't go on to win anything after Baku. He's tied Lewis Hamilton for having 6 Grand Slams, and is the only driver in Formula 1 history to have a Grand Slam 5 years in a row. Everything I just said was achieved after finishing first in Baku. And might I add, it wasn't even close. Yes, Carlos Sainz was the main contender for most of the GP, but he was holding back. It was about a 14-second gap all the way to George Russell in P2, and all the way to Lando Norris, which is the most competitive car, the McLaren. It was a 25-second gap, and Lando couldn't even make up any positions. Was this partly to do with strategy? Yes, but still, Max Verstappen was unstoppable in Monza and Baku, and we have the rest of the calendar to go over. Can he possibly steal this F1 title? Because it is very possible, even with the points gap still being quite significant with the 7 GPs we have left. On the road to 100K, if you guys are new here, please go ahead and subscribe. Would mean the world, does a lot for me, and helps the channel out big time. Thank you all for the support. Let's get started with the video. For a big gap in this season, we didn't even expect the Red Bull to be fighting for a P1 position. It looked like the McLarens were going to run away with it, and it'd just be a fight between Piastri and Lando. Well, that narrative has now changed. Max has won the last couple of GPs. Have they been low downforce tracks? Yes, but we got to go over everything because the car itself has been much better even in the higher downforce stuff. In Zandvoort, while he did end up losing out to Lando and Oscar, the car was a bit better. The upgrades they've been bringing to the car, especially in the front wing department, and now that recent floor upgrade in Monza, has made the car overall much better. The balance is much more all-rounded than before, where it was just on the nose. Max can drive the car, but same with Yuki, a P6 finish. While it might not seem like anything crazy when your teammate ended up going on to win the race, when your mentality has been that shot for so many GPs, to finish up in P6 for Yuki, it's a big deal, and it's showing that the car is making big strides in the right direction. And I think even if the McLarens were P2 and P3, without Piastri obviously crashing to the wall on lap 1, Max still would have gone on to win this race. But with Piastri making that mistake, he ended up gaining 25 points on who is right now the leader. The upgrade that was brought in Monza was something they've planned for a long period of time. Helmut Marko has been talking about the car getting constant upgrades. They want to see what they can achieve with this car, and he's even gone on to state before Baku that they think they can fight for victories in every single GP. The big test for them is obviously going to be Singapore, and he said that himself. Max has also been very hesitant to say, is he truly into the fight? Because as he stated, and what I think is the smartest mentality to have, is going race by race, because he is far behind. If you end up setting those expectations and then not achieving them, it's going to hurt a lot more. Realistically, he shouldn't have been in it, but now he is because of who he is, Max Verstappen. But he did go on to answer the question pretty quickly. He knew the gap was 69 points right away, so I'm pretty sure in the back of his mind, he still believes he can win this. The upgrades that were brought in Monza, while they were supposed to make the car a better balance, it also achieved something else. Andrea Stella, McLaren's team principal, has gone on to say that the car seems to be riding at a lower ride height, which in this day and age and with these cars is the most important thing to gain lap time and truly get the most out of the car. Now, a lot of this has been attributed to Lauren Meckies, the new team principal over there, who came in, has a very technical mindset. They've been trying things in each GP and practice sessions to actually achieve a better balance. They're not just sticking with the simulations anymore. They're not going off what the computer is saying is the best setup. Instead, they're now listening to Max and Yuki rather than the actual technical director. That was a big talking point in Monza, that Max was able to convince the team that having a lower downforce wing will achieve them the pole position, and then in the race they were unstoppable. They've also updated their brake ducts, which is huge, and it seems like their tire wear has been a bit better in the last couple of GPs. Now, I don't think the best indicator is Monza and Baku. Both these GPs don't really stress the tires out much. Singapore will be a much bigger test, and then Qatar that at it. But the strengths of the car haven't gone away. They're still really fast in the high speed stuff and straight line speed. It's in the low speed where we're gonna have to see, can they achieve what the McLaren can with that insane technical and really crazy traction they end up getting in low speed corners. Baku should have been a good track for them. Even with the MCL39 being pretty heavy on the drag, still traction is most important, and same with the rear tires, where the Red Bull has struggled for most of the year. So really it's been updated everywhere. Now, other than Singapore, we have Austin, Mexico, Brazil, Vegas, Qatar, and Abu Dhabi, and some of these have some sprint races mixed in. For Singapore, I think this is going to be the biggest test. It's low speed, very twisty, super important on traction, but they were able to achieve very good sector times all across Baku with a low downforce setup. So with a bit more bolted on downforce, I still expect this car technically to be good, especially in the hands of Max. In Austin, they've always done pretty well here. Max was able to defend Lando for so long in 2024, and his confidence in Sector 1 has been amazing for so many years now. I do expect the car to be fast here and probably the favorite. Going on to Mexico, now this is a track that's always up in the air. The McLaren car was faster there last year, but same with Ferrari. Ferrari in Austin and Mexico was the car to beat. I definitely don't think we're going to see that with the SF25. It's going to be a toss-up whether Red Bull can get this setup down, because this is a lot of downforce, but you don't really feel that in the car. It's very low grip here. In Brazil, you add some rain, that's a Max track. Now, without the rain, I still believe the McLaren car can be fast. I think the Red Bull can match it because of it being still very important on the straight line speed, but most of those corners are medium to high speed with some low mixed. It's a very interesting track. I still think Max can do it. Vegas, from what we've seen in Baku and Monza, I would assume this is a track that they will definitely show up in P1. That high drag could really cost them, and Mercedes will probably be better here as well. So this is a track where Max can take a lot of points off of the McLaren boys. Qatar, high speed. Yeah, again, another Max-like track, and the Red Bull has always been well suited to the high speed stuff. It's Abu Dhabi that I think is going to be the trickiest on the car. Out of all these tracks, Singapore and Abu Dhabi, yes, there's some high-speed stuff, but it's also very interesting on the setup that you go for. And over the years, it's been a toss-up. Sometimes the Red Bull is really good here. Other times, it really struggles to get down all of the sectors together. With Max now winning 2 in a row, Helmut has gone on to say there are a couple more parts coming. I don't think it's going to be anything major, but Monza wasn't expected to be major, and look what it's done to the car. So these are all good things. And McLaren, obviously, Piastri and Lando are going to fight it out. So that puts Max into the mix. Now having that extra pressure of somebody being behind that has a possibility of catching them, that could put a dent into the McLaren boys, who already kind of struggle in the mentality department. Definitely for Lando, I would say Piastri is much better in that. It's been one really, really bad GP. I mean, one of the worst that I've seen. But if that's going to be it, in all of these other tracks, I expect Piastri to make a big comeback. He was super strong at Qatar multiple times in 23 and 24. But the other tracks, he has to prove himself on. It was Baku where I expected him to perform the best out of all of the tracks we had left in the calendar year. So can Max do the impossible? Can he truly catch this MCL39? He can, but it's going to be very tricky. It's going to rely more on whether or not McLaren can make it work in these last 7 GPs rather than if Max will make the most out of it. Because what we've seen throughout the whole season, whether he's finishing P7 or P1, he always takes the most out of the car. He's giving 100%. To have more pole positions in a season where it's definitely that McLaren car that's dominant, I would even say. If they're able to win on tracks by 20 to 30 seconds, that's a pretty dominant car. And in qualifying, nobody's been able to match them. On the high downforce tracks, it's typically about a 3 to 4 tenth difference, which is huge. So I would like to see Max up there. He makes it very interesting, and I would say it's probably been the most entertaining part of 2025. We haven't seen McLaren fight enough. It's so much dirty air, so whoever's behind really struggles to catch the other car. But Max, when given the opportunity, he makes the most out of it. I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. Do you guys really believe Max can take this 5th championship? It would be something to go down in history if he truly makes the impossible happen. Thank you for all the love. Please leave a like, subscribe, it'd mean the world, and peace.